Good evening, everybody. This is Sweat, and it is Thursday, October the 6th. And coincidentally enough, tomorrow is Friday, October the 7th. And the reason I bring that up, besides being my girlfriend's birthday tomorrow on the 7th, is 8 years ago tomorrow, I was getting on a bus. And, well, first off, I got on a plane and flew to, I think I flew to North Carolina. And then we took a bus to South Carolina, Parris Island, South Carolina. I think that's where I flew into, was North Carolina. And I took a bus to Parris Island, South Carolina, because that's the location of Marine Corps boot camp on the East Coast. That's the boot camp that I went to. And tomorrow, the 7th, was supposed to be my last day of my contract, but um, it's kind of difficult to explain. I didn't realize it. It took me. Sergeant Merrill eventually told me, but they start keeping count of your service on the day you sign your contract, like the day you go to MEPS. And I signed my contract and went to MEPS in April. So April, I've got my honorable discharge for 4 years of active duty service, 4 years of inactive reserve status, honorable discharge. And a couple people were asking, you can't retire after only 4 years of active duty, so it's not like I could get a retirement thing. And there's different ways, but generally, an honorable discharge is the most prestigious way to get discharged from the military. It's the most prestigious way to get out of the military. Other than serving for 20 years or 30 years or whatever, and actually retiring. So I've got to thinking about it, and all the emotions and all the feelings that I had whenever I was flying, whenever I was riding on that bus to go. And the reason I did it is because I always, you guys always send me, my subscribers send me messages. I recently got a message from a young man whose brother wanted to join the Marine Corps after his girlfriend broke up with him. He said he's got a couple of friends in the Marine Corps, and his brother was just worried about him. He says he didn't want his brother returning home as a robot, and that's a common misconception. I'm not gonna make fun of him, or I giggle at it, but it is a common misconception that the Marine Corps breeds robots, and they just make mindless idiots that run in. I know a lot of Army guys will say that's true, but no. I just told him that his brother was certainly in good hands. There was nothing wrong with somebody who wanted to do something admirable and honorable after a potentially devastating moment in his life. A lot of people can turn to alcohol, a lot of people can turn to drugs and stuff like that after a real trying time in their life, but not everybody can make that kind of sacrifice and commitment and say that they want to do something that'll make them stronger. And that was partially what mine was. That I'll be honest with you. I mean, a lot of people don't know. I was actually signed up infantry, um, and was recruited to go infantry, and I wanted to be the sniper and everything. And at the time, my family and my high school girlfriend were really so against that I changed my MOS and ended up crash fire rescue, which um, I'm thankful that it did, because it offered me more opportunities once I got outside the Marine Corps. Um, but looking back at it, it's really one of those things I wanted to do. I wanted to go whenever I signed up around September 11th, 2001. That's where I initially signed up. It's one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to go overseas. I wanted to see what, um, I wanted to be the defender of a country and all that stuff. I wanted to be in the same position that both of my grandfathers were in. One of them serving in World War II, and the other one serving actually right in between Korea and Vietnam. But I'm kind of rambling and getting off topic here. One of the things that I remember so vividly sitting on the bus was was looking around at how big some of the guys were. I mean, just big, huge guys. And keep in mind, guys, I grew probably 2 or 3 inches and gained at least 30 pounds when I got to boot camp. Um, for whatever reason, I hit that growth spurt, and part of it was because they fed me so much. But at the time, on that bus, I was 5'10", maybe 110 pounds. And I'm sitting on a bus with a bunch of guys after we left the airport, got on this bus. About an hour drive, I'm sitting in there with a bunch of guys that looked like they were 220 pounds, 240 pounds, football players, big guys. And just one of them started crying, like 2 rows down, right on the side of me, and just bawling, crying. And their drill instructors already on the bus, but they weren't really yelling or saying anything. They leave that shock factor for whenever they rush you out of the bus and you get on those yellow footprints. So this guy just started bawling. I mean, just couldn't handle it, bawling, crying, saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And for whatever reason, a lot of people in that same situation would have said, this is not for me. This is, what am I getting myself into? But for whatever reason, that was it. That was the moment I was like, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be just fine. Because there was no moment leading up to that where I questioned, if I could be able to do it. It was one of those things where, do I want to spend 8 years, doing this? When you're 18, 8 years seems like a lifetime. I can't believe it was 8 years ago tomorrow, but, you just have those moments where you realize that suddenly everything's going to be all right. And excuse me, I didn't really mean to ramble too much. Didn't really have a clear goal whenever I started this commentary. Really mellowed out. Really just, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about it. And that's what I'll probably do tonight. Where at the city where I'm living now, Thursday night's really the only night to go out. So I might see if a couple buddies want to go out and sit around the bar. And I'll probably wait for that clock to strike midnight. And think about it, 8 years is, like I said, again, when you're 18 years old, 8 years away seems like an eternity. And now that I'm here, I don't know how, I don't know where the time went. But other than that, guys, I hope y'all have a great day. Just filling the time with this montage trailer. Should be done in the next 2 weeks. I'm sorry. It's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated as well. So, have a great day. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again real soon.
Don't fuck with a Marine!